One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Good morning, everybody. An early show today. It'll be the first of two shows. We're going to have a doubleheader today. Early one here with Karoline Leavitt hosting a press conference. It's going to be a shorter show, not going to do much other than the press conference because I got to take care of some personal business right after this. Got to run to the jewelry store, then I got to run to the florist. I got to make sure everything is perfect for tonight. In case you guys didn't see it earlier, let me just share something with you personally. She said I do 33 years ago today. Man, she got lucky. Happy anniversary, my dearest Robin. Today is our 33rd year anniversary. 33 years. I'm like, oh my gosh. I bet you if you had asked our friends back in the day, they would have said, no, they'll never make 33 days, if not 33 months. And here we are, 33 years later. Wow. Could not have imagined it. I remember being a younger kid and seeing people whose parents were married 20, 25 years, like, wow, that's crazy. And here we are, one of those crazy couples 33 years later, and ups and downs and sideways. And people say, would you do it all over again? Well, we're going to do it all over again. We just haven't figured out where we're going to do it on our 35th, or we're going to wait till 40, but we're going to, renew the vows and all that kind of stuff. But we'll do it again. And I'm pretty sure she'll say yes again. So I do, whatever. But anyway, yeah, today's our anniversary. So normally these press conferences are at 1 o'clock. And when they're at 1 o'clock, we can have an entire show prepared and ready to go. And then today, because it's such a busy day in the White House, Karoline Leavitt, she bumped her press conference up to 11 o'clock. She's already late, obviously. Then today, President Trump has two events. He's going to be speaking about AI and the data centers at 2:30, which we will most assuredly cover. And then at 4:30, he's got the Los Angeles Dodgers coming to the White House. So a huge packed day. I don't know if I'll be able to cover the baseball team, but I will cover the 2:30 show. The 2:30 event with President Trump. So we'll see that, and we'll enjoy all of that. And now we're just waiting for Karoline Leavitt. Now, before she comes out, let me show you a couple of things. I got to say, I don't know if it's the doldrums of the summer or people just out of content, but why are people just lying to you? I mean, I'm not going to name any names because I don't want them to get pissed off. Excuse me. But I'm like, what? Why are so many people engaging in clickbait at this point? One of the people I saw who engaged in some of that clickbait was talking about President Trump has given nuclear weapons to the Middle East. And so President Trump, I don't know if he saw that person or not, but he actually came out and made a post about it because it couldn't be further from the truth. This is what President Trump said in that regard. This was at 7:52 a.m., so it was before some of these people woke up and started, basically putting their nonsense out. The civil nuclear deal, there will be no enrichment of material. All right, straight off the bat, it's okay for people to have nuclear facilities, but you can't, where you get the weaponization is when you have people who are enriching this stuff. And he's saying right off the bat, the civil nuclear deal, no enrichment. Somehow, I don't know, the clickbaiters out there have forgotten that little part that means everything. Being made between the United States Department of Energy and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use, such as the ones that Iran and UAE and others already have, will be approved. But it is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. The United States is not opposed to civil, non-enriched nuclear facilities. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. You really got to be careful what you're out there consuming. And be extra careful when you send it to me and go, Barry, have you seen this? Oh, my God. I can't believe he's giving nuclear weapons to Saudi Arabia. And I look at this stuff and I shake my head. I'm like, I can't blame you because so many people are proliferating this bullshit. And they're injuring your minds because they're just straight up lying for clicks and views. The money must be getting tight with some people. I don't know if they're 100% dependent upon Elon bucks or whatever, but it's absolutely insane how they will look people in the eye, look at a camera, and completely lie to you. And those of you who consume that without knowing any better, maybe you might want to start looking for data. Maybe it's not the first story that you want to run with. Maybe sit back and see how things play out because they're going to use anything they can to get those eyeballs. That's a public service announcement for you guys right now. President Trump also posted this. And it says, a year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerful the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Since that time and during our conflict with Iran, they have acted very responsibly. Unfortunately, now they are starting up again like the petulant children in the Middle East that they are, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. Please let this truth, meaning his post, serve to represent that if they do this again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible, in that the Houthis are a surrogate and or proxy of Iran, and major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran and, of course, the Houthis themselves, who I am very disappointed with in that they have until now acted very professionally and smart. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So a message has been given to the Houthis. Now, while all this is happening, President Trump, Pete Hegseth, General Kane are, as the word they use, surging troops to the Middle East. And the troops that they're surging to the Middle East, a lot of people are going to have a problem with. I understand that they are surging special ops people. I understand that in regards to that, they are also surging medical personnel, which means they expect to have people in triage and other means, which all of that indicates, in addition to all the planes and everything and boats, that they may be looking to go in. So we don't know, don't run with that. But the fact that they're sending over a bunch of special ops people and sending over a bunch of medical people, well, that could be two things. First of all, it could mean we're going in. And second of all, they could be ready to drop and unleash hell on Iran. And there's going to be a need for people to get medical attention. So there's both sides of the story. Is it medical attention for our people who might be in harm's way? Or are they getting ready to bomb the hell out of Iran, and the people on the ground there are going to need immediate medical attention? That could be either way or both. It could mean we are going in and we want to make sure the guys are okay, and we're going to drop bombs and unleash hell on the country, which means a lot of civilians are going to get hurt and need medical attention. In any event, I think it's come to a point where this thing has to end. We don't want to go into August getting too close to the midterms with all this stuff running around, with the oil companies obviously gouging, with oil looking like an arrhythmia on a heart scan. We got to get it fixed and stabilized before we get into the midterms, if there's going to be any midterms. So as you hear this news about what they're getting ready to do, and with Iran still, beating their chest and saying, what they're going to do, something's got to give, and it's got to give very quickly. I am not going to pontificate. I have never been in the military. I'm just trying to give you the information of what's going on out there and what may or may not happen. I am never going to say, oh, we're going to do this or do that, because I don't know. And I don't want to talk about things I don't know. All right, what else did he post? He posted this as well, which was very interesting. This came from a story from John Sullivan. Justice at last. Jim Jordan and the House panel not just accused Jack Smith of lying to Congress, they have offered a referral for Jack Smith to go to, criminal charges, which I think all of us have been waiting for. So a lot of this stuff is coming to the head all at the same time. We don't know what these grand juries are doing, but we know something is happening. We understand yesterday Maduro was in court, so we don't know. I mean, I guess they scheduled his trial for January of 2027. Mondami out there flapping his lips about arresting Netanyahu. Now he realizes he can't do it. It was all BS to begin with. He's acting like he's part of another covert administration instead of just the mayor of one city, albeit the biggest city in the country. Why don't you just deal with the potholes and the crime and stuff in your own city and all the copyright infractions that are going on with people selling copyrighted and fake goods and everything else that's going on in your city? Maybe fix the sewer system. Bring your sights down from Netanyahu. Why don't you attack the sewer system? And figure out why people can't, every time it rains, the water can't go anywhere in New York City. Disgusting. And these people, ignore this little general. Ignore him for the time being. I don't understand why we amplify him. All right, he said his craziness. We reported on it. Everybody's seen it. Now put him back in the closet. Let him be a little elf on the shelf. And one more story for you. This one is leaving a lot of people lurching at this point. And I don't get it at all. Let me see if I can get it in before she comes up. But it's everywhere. And I know a lot of people are absolutely disgusted by this. Mike Lindell has, in his run for governor of Minnesota, is now saying that he supports a 6-month amnesty for illegal immigrants. Now, some people have said that they misunderstood, that they may have altered the video, that it may have been edited surreptitiously, and he really didn't say that. But the video that's out there that everybody has seen, you can clearly hear him say it. So if he didn't say it, if it's something that somebody did to him to make him look bad, which is not out of the question, then the first thing I would have done if it was me and or you is like, I didn't say it. I don't stand behind this. There is no way I want a 6-month amnesty for people. That's a lie. Here's what I stand for. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that. And there's a lot of people who have paid money over the years to buy my pillow and everything else who thought he was a good guy. I don't know the man personally, so I can't say he's a bad guy, but that's a bad policy if it's true. If that is true, that is a horrendous policy, and he needs whatever he gets if that's what he has actually said. And so as of today, unless you guys have seen something in the last hour or so, he has not come out and said that that is a doctored tape. And he must know because he's been getting calls from everybody. And I'm sure he's also been on X and seeing everybody talk about it. So he can't say he didn't know, which is scarier because at this point, be a man. If that's what you believe, come out and say, yeah, I said it. But if you didn't say it, you should be out there just as fast saying, I didn't say it. So that being said, I think he said it. Otherwise, right now, we would see a retraction or something. It's funny because, Ashley and I was talking to SV yesterday. We've gone back through our entire catalog of interviews and of different people, and we said, hey, you want to bring this person back on? You want to bring that person back on? And what we keep finding is that these people have turned, I don't know, I wouldn't say turned into complete nuts, but they have obviously changed their tune. I don't know for political reasons. I don't know if they're getting paid, but it's insane. So many of the people we have talked to or thought to talk to for interviews have turned crazy. And you know them. Nancy Mace, General Flynn. I mean, the pollster. I don't know what has happened to people. I don't know if the income is better because they have to go to the crazy people. I can't explain it. But what I can tell you is I don't need this to eat. I don't need this to make sure that everything stays copacetic with us financially. So there's no reason for me to change. If things turned off tomorrow, we couldn't turn on a camera again. There's a number of different things that we're doing that I'm okay with. There's no reason to be enticed by somebody putting out a big check just to compromise your integrity. Just to sit there and go, hey, Trump sucks and socialism's great. And it's more popular now, so I'm going to be a socialism type person, or I want to go for 6 months of amnesty. What? I can't imagine needing something that bad where you would change the core beliefs that you have internally and just flip like that. We're going to see more of it. You are definitely going to see more of it as we get closer to November. People you thought were, right there are not going to be right there. They're going to switch. There's going to be a ton of money changing hands. They're going to be pushing it out to everybody and that big carrot in front of their eyes. And they're going to think, let me grab that.
Barry, I have a Lindell cut. Lindell, he just posted.
It's so funny. We're doing something different with our show now, where before I had to hit a button so I could talk to SV. Now it's like I have a control room here, and I'm like, I start hearing voices, and it's him. I'm like, what?
Hey, Barry, good morning.
I'm hearing
hey,
something.
Lindell. Mike Lindell just posted literally 20 seconds ago. Check it out. That's cut number 5.
Okay, hold on. Did he disavow? Okay, what did he say here?
Yes. As always, I stand with President Trump and fully support his policies to deport illegal aliens from the United States. Immigration law is a complex issue. Some of my comments have been taken out of context about guest worker visas in which people take seasonal jobs for a few months. I absolutely do not support amnesty. That is fake news. Fresh off the
But
wire.
he didn't address what the video said. I mean, we could all heard the video. The video said people for 6 months should be able to come in and work, right? I mean, did I hear it wrong? Did you hear it?
Well, I think, sometimes you say things and you don't realize afterwards that you said it in the wrong way. So I don't know if this is just a thing to, cool things off, or is he going to come up with something additional? But it's a start. We'll have to see, because I think it just doesn't make any sense, because he's been a really strong supporter for President Trump. So I'm gonna give him a benefit of doubt right now for myself,
Here, listen, I'm going to, while we're waiting for Karoline, for those of you who haven't heard it, let me go ahead and download the actual video, and you can hear for yourself what exactly he says. So there's no supposition. And let me know if that was and number one, he just did that, 10 minutes ago, 11:15, 4 minutes ago. Why did you wait until now, if that's how you felt? All right, so
maybe he's sleeping with his pillow.
The pillow works too well. All right, hold on. You guys who haven't heard it will hear it for yourselves right now. And let me go ahead and play this. Okay.
Here's what I propose is I want to make conditional non-resident visas. And this would be, I'm going to actually talk to the president about this, but I want to start with Minnesota. These conditional non-resident visas, you would have 6 months. Anyone's here that is an illegal immigrant comes in, you get checked in the courthouse, you get fingerprinted, you get checked in to get this conditional non-resident visa. Now you have 6 months to do that. You're not a citizen, but you don't have to leave ever, as long as a couple of things happen. One is you can't commit a crime be convicted of a crime of a gross misdemeanor or better. Right now we have 1,300.
Wait. Did he just say you don't have to leave ever? Let's rewind that, because that's the problem I think he's having. Hold on, let's rewind that, because he says you don't have to leave ever.
To leave ever, as long as a couple of things happen. This conditional non-resident visa. Now you have 6 months to do that. You're not a citizen, but you don't have to leave ever, as long as a couple of things happen. One is you can't commit a crime be convicted of a crime of a gross misdemeanor or better. Right now we have 1,300 people in Minnesota that are in our prisons that are illegal. We pay $110 million a year to house them. They need to be shipped out. Okay.
Yeah, but the president is not going to go for this.
Let me finish the plan, Esme. So you have this, and now at the end of the 6 months, of these people, if they want to go get a driver's license, they can go get a driver's license. But just like when I used to get DWIs, there was conditions on my driver's license. They will have to get a driver's license, but they will have to learn to speak English and to read our signs here. Okay, that's going to be one of the conditions. Okay, if you want to drive it now, if you go to
So wait a minute, they never have to leave ever, and they get a conditional driver's license, but they're not citizens. Interesting.
the line to be a legal citizen, then you go to the back of the line. But here's the thing, that line's going to be short and there's going to be no cost. How are we going to pay for that? Here's how we're going to pay. During this 6 months, the employers that are paying cash, at the end of that 6 months, if they're paying cash and they don't have that card, these guys are committing crimes, these employers. They need to go to jail for 90 days. It'll be mandatory. And then they're going to start paying taxes that we all pay. And the economy's going to go up here because these guys, everyone's going to start paying taxes.
Well, the immigrant community, undocumented, do pay taxes. There's a way that started in the 1990s. Okay. There is a way that they do pay taxes.
They're not all paying this. These employers are paying. It solves a big problem. These guys now, the illegals can come out of the shadows. They can live like you and I. They don't have to hide out. They don't have to worry about being attacked so they can't tell anybody or raped or whatever would happen to them. Yeah. They don't have to have that worry. These employers that are stealing from all of us better look out under my watch, because they better have that conditional non-resident card for you to employ them, and you better be paying your taxes. And then if you do this, here's what happens. you now have all the money that you gain. It's in the billions, not millions. In the billions you gain from them paying taxes. Now, these employers, okay, you take that money and you use it to legalize people. You bring it to, because right now a lot of the people, they can't afford $5,000 to $15,000 to go through the system to be legalized.
All right, so you
well,
just
it sounds a little sus there. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of the comments to his video too, and everybody's saying no amnesty, no amnesty. You effed up. You don't have my vote. So,
and then to put this out, 10 minutes ago,
it's walking it back quickly.
It doesn't jive with what we just heard, and so I was expecting him to come out and say, "I didn't say that. It's AI or something." Because we all just heard it. So I hate when people say this. When people use an excuse and they say, been taken out of context. Well, at that point, if something that you think has been taken out of context, if I say, I beat my wife in backgammon, and somebody says, I beat my wife, that's a big difference out of context, but you address it right away. I got to jump. She is on stage. All right, let's go.
All right, here we go.
Later this afternoon, President Trump will welcome the Los Angeles Dodgers back to the White House to celebrate their second consecutive World Series championship. Tomorrow night, the president will attend the White House Correspondents Association Dinner Round 2, celebrating free speech and the First Amendment alongside all of you, members of the media. The president looks forward to finishing what he started before a despicable assassination attempt derailed the original event back in April, as we all know. And I encourage everyone watching tomorrow night to tune in for what promises to be a very entertaining and memorable evening. Looking ahead to next week, on Monday, President Trump will travel to Michigan to deliver remarks on the economy. On Tuesday afternoon, the president will deliver a tribute honoring the life and legacy of his dear friend, Senator Lindsey Graham, at the National Cathedral. And next Friday, the president will host the 13th cabinet meeting of this term at Camp David, which will be a lot of fun and something different for the cabinet to experience together. Turning now to the economy. A little more than a year after President Trump signed the Working Families Tax Cuts into law, this historic legislation continues to deliver on its promise, unleashing a genuine boom for American workers, families, and small businesses. The numbers speak for themselves. This was the biggest tax refund season in American history, with the average refund exceeding $3,400, an 11% increase over the last year. American families and workers claimed $82 billion in direct tax relief, and 97% of filers received a tax cut. More than 29 million workers claimed no tax on overtime. More than 35 million seniors claimed no tax on Social Security, and nearly 8 million workers claimed no tax on tips. Thanks to the other pro-growth provisions in the Working Families Tax Cuts, like making the 20% small business tax deduction permanent and delivering 100% expensing for new factories, equipment, and research, the Trump administration is setting up American manufacturers and workers to thrive like never before. Just this week, the National Association of Manufacturers, which is the largest manufacturing association in the country, released a detailed report showing exactly how these tax cuts are driving investment, job creation, innovation, and long-term growth in all 50 states. In fact, I'd like to take a moment to highlight just a few of the real American businesses that this law is helping. Pivot Manufacturing in Arizona made the largest equipment purchase in company history after the Trump tax cuts gave them the long-term certainty to invest with confidence. Winton Machine Company in Georgia is on pace for the best year in its history. Ketchy Inc. in North Carolina was able to purchase new machinery and expand its workforce by 25%. And Juergens in Ohio expanded its brand new facility to increase production, and they're also paying their workers even more thanks to the no tax on overtime provision. These are not just great statistics, these are American businesses with the confidence to grow, hire, and invest right here at home rather than offshoring their jobs. And a business opening or expanding in this country means more opportunity and higher wages for American workers. It means a chance for the American dream for young families, and it means restoring the belief that we can make and build things right here at home. This is what President Trump promised, and it's exactly what he is delivering with the help of Republicans in Congress. Democrats throw around the word affordability a lot, but when they had the chance to vote for the largest middle-class tax cuts in history, they refused. If Democrats got their way, it would have meant the largest tax increase in history, $4 trillion. 90% of Americans would have seen their taxes go up, and it would have been a complete disaster for our economy. That's the Democrat solution to, quote, affordability. It is raising your taxes. So I hope the press will cover more of the massive success stories resulting from the working families tax cuts and point out that every single Democrat on Capitol Hill voted against every single common sense provision that put more money back into the pockets of the American people. Finally, on the energy front, after this briefing, President Trump will participate in a historic ratepayer protection pledge event at the EPA headquarters down the street. The president will expand the ratepayer protection pledge to governors, state legislatures, developers, and power providers to ensure that everyone involved in building and powering data centers pays their own way, instead of passing those costs on to hardworking families. The president will be joined by Energy Secretary Chris Wright, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, and several governors who have already signed on to this pledge, and it has already proven to be remarkably successful. Nearly 200 additional stakeholders have signed on since it was first announced, including utilities, data center developers, public power authorities, co-ops, and state governors. As a result, the pledge now covers 80% of all the power delivered to American homes and businesses. President Trump's bold leadership is turning data centers from a source of concern into engines of growth and opportunity for communities across this country, all while cementing America's dominance over China in the global AI race. The president is ensuring the American people are never left footing the bill so private companies can benefit. Instead, President Trump is leveraging the data center boom to deliver real, tangible benefits for working families and small businesses. So we have a busy day here, rest assured. I'll take some questions. And here in our new media seat, we have Cam from Town Hall. Cam, thank you for being here. Why don't you kick us off today?
Thank you. Two quick questions. One on Congress. First off, Speaker Mike Johnson passed a continuing resolution earlier this week. John Thune has said he wants to work with Democrats to find a way to fund the government. What is the White House's stance on the best way to keep the government funded?
Well, the White House's stance is that the government needs to be funded. This president and Republicans on Capitol Hill from both chambers, as you just mentioned, the House and the Senate Republicans want to keep the government open. We want to work together to find ways to do that, and the White House will continue to have discussions with Senate leadership on the best path forward. I don't want to get ahead of those conversations, but the most important thing for the American people to know is that this president and this White House wants the government to remain open, unlike the Democrats in this town who have been acting as obstructionists. We've seen time and time again, they have chosen to block this administration, to block Republicans in Congress from keeping our government open, which does not help anyone, and it especially hurts the American people who depend on our government remaining open so they can access the critical services that our government provides to so many Americans across the country. So these conversations are continuing, but I think I just made the president's position quite clear.
Thank you. And then on the Saudi Arabian nuclear deal, what steps is the U.S. taking to get Saudi Arabia to sign the Abraham Accords?
Sure. Well, the president himself has spoken on this many times. His Truth Social post this morning, and I will read it for those at home who missed it. The civil nuclear deal, there will be no enrichment of material, an important point being made between the Department of Energy and Saudi Arabia, which pertains only to non-military use. Will be approved, but is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. The United States is not opposed to civil nuclear facilities, as we all know. Look, this is a condition that the president has spoken about many times with our Gulf and Arab allies. He wants to see these countries sign the Abraham Accord. It was one of the most historic accomplishments of his first term, and it continues to be a long-term goal of his to expand those accords to ultimately come to a place where the Middle East can be a peaceful and stable region. And yes, this deal with Saudi Arabia, the energy deal, is contingent on this condition as far as the president is concerned. So we'll continue to talk with our Saudi counterparts to get the deal finalized and hopefully see them joining the Abraham Accords very soon. Thank you. Gabe.
Karoline, thank you. With regards to the Saudi nuclear deal, why was that condition not mentioned yesterday when the Energy Secretary announced it?
Well, look, the president is always the final deal maker, as you know, and this is something that he has mentioned on numerous occasions going back. I can provide you with those statements, and he has said if they don't join the Abraham Accords, the deal is off. So we'll continue to have those conversations with our Saudi counterparts moving forward.
So the deal is dead if Saudi Arabia doesn't join. And have you any
No.
indication that Saudi Arabia is even considering this?
Again, the president has spoken directly with the Saudis about this in numerous conversations in the past, and the administration will continue to engage in those conversations. Alexandra.
Be exempt from international inspections as part of this deal if it moves forward?
I don't want to comment on the specifics of the deal as we're still, again, as I just said, talking especially about this very important condition that the president raised this morning. Alexandra.
It's good to see you now that you're back.
You too.
So Treasury Secretary Bessent voiced concern this week on China potentially distilling or stealing AI technology from the United States, kind of manipulating it as their own. Anthropic said that the largest distilling attack happened last month. Do you think this will come up when the president meets with President Xi in September?
Well, I have had the honor of being part of some of the meetings and discussions between President Trump and President Xi, and I can tell you there is always a wide range of topics that come up. I would imagine this would be something it's of high importance to the president and of this administration to obviously ensure that America remains dominant in the AI race, and we're obviously tracking the particular situation that you mentioned.
I have one more if you don't
Sure.
mind. This week we've seen some major players in Democrat politics voicing or alerting really on how much influence socialism, communism has had.
Okay, I'm going to switch the feed. You're not missing anything because the Fox feed's about 60 seconds behind. And I'm only going to switch it because they sometimes show the reporters.
Just have too many of those left in the Democrat Party. We have literal self-proclaimed communists who are winning elections and who are claiming to be the new leadership of the Democrat Party. I think the vast majority of Americans understand the dangers of communism. Just look at countries all over this world. As an example, Cuba right now is a country that is about to be a failed state because of the communist policies of the past several decades. Communism should never be allowed to lead this country, and the president obviously is strictly opposed to it and all the dangers that it reaps. We've seen it happen across the world.
Any chance that the president would be interested or is considering working with left of center Democrats to push back on this?
Well, unfortunately, we don't seem to have too many of those left in the Democrat Party. We have literal self-proclaimed communists who are winning elections and who are claiming to be the new leadership of the Democrat Party. I think the vast majority of Americans understand the dangers of communism. Just look at countries all over this world. As an example, Cuba right now is a country that is about to be a failed state because of the communist policies of the past several decades. Communism should never be allowed to lead this country, and the president obviously is strictly opposed to it and all the dangers that it reaps. We've seen it happen across the world. Meredith.
Just to continue on the Saudi nuclear deal, do the Saudis agree with this interpretation since it wasn't part of the initial agreement? And has the president talked to MBS since this new condition was announced?
As you know, the president just put out this statement a few hours ago. I don't believe he's had a call with MBS in the hours since. However, this is something that he has raised in previous conversations and has also said many times in the past. John, in the back, go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Karoline. In regards to this deal, in the past, the Saudi government has said they will not consider entering into the Abraham Accords unless and until there's a Palestinian state. What makes you think that they're going to change their minds on their position regarding that?
Again, I won't get ahead of the president's conversations, but this is something that he feels very strongly about and has spoken about it in the past and will continue to uphold.
Can I ask you one other question?
Sure.
Just playing devil's advocate, why does Saudi Arabia get a civilian nuclear deal, but Iran doesn't get a civilian nuclear deal?
Well, again, this agreement is still being worked out. Well, it will eventually, hopefully, be finalized with the condition that the president spoke about this morning. But this agreement in particular, as it's been discussed thus far, does give priority access for American companies in the Saudi nuclear energy program, which will ultimately benefit American industry workers and supply chains. So the deal that has been discussed thus far and will continue to be discussed absolutely puts America first, and that's obviously very important to this president. Ed.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. So Friday, the Section 122, the 10% global tariff, goes away. Is the president going to ask Congress for an extension, or what's next?
Well, I know the USTR, our great Jameson Greer, trade representative, will be having an announcement on that very soon, later today. I don't want to get ahead of him, so I would just tell you to stay tuned for more details.
Okay, and then one more on the president's going to have some big utility companies at this event later on today. We're now a year and a half, so to speak, into his pro-energy policies. Is he going to pressure those executives to lower energy prices, not just maintain the prices?
Well, look, as I mentioned earlier, the Ratepayer Protection Pledge is a novel idea drawn up by this president and his team to ensure that data centers in communities, where those communities want data centers, that these big CEOs and energy companies are picking up the tab for the energy costs in these communities, so the American taxpayer not being fronted with those bills. And the pledge today is being expanded to acknowledge all elements involved in building and operating data center, the governors who appoint the state regulators, who set the power prices, the utilities and the co-ops that sell the power, and in addition to the tech companies that have already signed the pledge. So you'll continue to hear more about that from the president in a few hours at 2:30 when he goes over to the EPA. Sophia.
Have you spoken to the president about what he wants to do about Chinese AI models if they are found to have stolen American IP? Does he want to sanction them? Or what actions can be taken without undermining broader U.S.-China trade talks or cutting off American startups that are increasingly reliant on them?
Sure. Well, I won't get ahead of the president on any potential actions, but obviously these conversations are taking place, and again, they're of the utmost importance, not just for our national security, but to ensure America remains dominant in this space. Stephen.
Thank you, Karoline. Two questions. Has President Trump spoken with FIFA President Gianni Infantino about his interest in nominating him for UN Secretary General? And can you explain his interest there? And secondly, just a minor point of clarification on the Saudi nuclear deal. Did Prime Minister Netanyahu request this provision?
Not to my knowledge, no. Again, as I told you, this was an idea the president has long had. It was the president and his team in the first term that began and signed the Abraham Accords with several countries in the region, between those countries and Israel. And the president obviously wants to expand on that historic accomplishment from his first term. To your first question about Gianni Infantino, I don't know if he and the president have discussed that. I haven't been present for all their conversations. I know they speak quite frequently, and the president has a lot of respect for Gianni and what he has done with FIFA. As we all just saw, the World Cup was a tremendous success here at home. It not only was hugely beneficial to our businesses and our local economies across the country, but I think it showed that America is the greatest country on earth, and the president is grateful to Gianni for all of the efforts that he had to make that dream a reality here in the United States. Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No. We've already answered that question. Elizabeth.
Thank you, Caroline. Secretary Mullin said that election officials that knowingly allowed non-citizens to vote could be prosecuted and fined. Is this option being considered in New Jersey after the governor revealed that thousands of non-citizens were registered to vote there?
Well, for any prosecutions, obviously, I would always defer you to the Department of Justice. But what I will say on New Jersey and this governor, the fact that she just all of a sudden decided to put out a press release saying President Trump and Republicans have been right about non-citizens on our voting rolls is not a coincidence. I think this governor is saying this because she realizes this administration is serious about getting to the bottom of illegal aliens voting and being on our voter rolls in our country. The Secretary of Homeland Security, as you know, sent a letter to several states, including New Jersey, requesting that non-citizens that are on their voter rolls need to be reported to DHS and need to be removed from those voter rolls. So that's why all of a sudden she is speaking truth about the fact that this does take place in states across the country. It is completely unacceptable to have non-citizens on American voter rolls voting in U.S. elections. And she says it's 6,600. We suspect it's a heck of a lot more, not just in New Jersey, but in states across the country. The president is hell-bent on getting to the bottom of this, and it's also why we need to pass the Save America Act to ensure that only U.S. citizens are voting in U.S. elections. And I understand the House had a great accomplishment yesterday with passing the budget resolution, which has as much of the Save America Act as possible, and we encourage the Senate to move forward with passing that resolution into law so the president can sign it into law by the August recess. It's of the utmost importance to this president, but also to the American people who support this bill overwhelmingly. Mary in the back.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions, one on Sophia Cunningham and then on self-driving cars.
Sure.
Sophia Cunningham in the WNBA has been attacked as a MAGA Barbie for saying it's common sense for men to not be in women's sports and locker rooms. Is the president following this story, and has he reached out to her?
I don't believe he has reached out to her. I know he is following the story. As you know, this is something the president feels strongly about as well, and the American people do too, that men should not be playing in women's sports. It's completely ludicrous that anyone could support that. It's even more ludicrous that you do have Sophia Cunningham, a female athlete herself, very accomplished in her own right, coming forth and speaking that truth that men shouldn't play in women's sports. We want to protect women and girls, and the backlash she is receiving from Democrats and left-wing figures across the country is astonishing. They are clearly very out of touch with the American public on this issue, which again is an 80-20 issue. It's common sense. It's rooted in basic biological fact that men should not be competing against women on playing fields across the country.
Thank you. And then really quick on
Sure.
self-driving cars. There's legislation right now to ban China's self-driving car technology from U.S. roads. Does the White House have a position on this? And broadly, how does the president feel about self-driving cars himself?
Well, you know, the president did have a red Tesla here at the White House for quite some time, so he's a supporter of them. I know he's purchased some self-driving cars for his family members, his grandchildren, so I think he supports them and Americans who want to drive them. But with that said, I don't know about the specific legislation. I will check in with our Legislative Affairs Office and we'll get you a statement on that. Reagan.
One question for you on Thune and then one on Darlene Graham. The president seemed yesterday frustrated with Leader Thune when he was speaking in Georgia. Is his patience running out with Leader Thune? And then the president recently endorsed Darlene Graham right after her appointment to Senate. What caused him to endorse her so quickly?
The president met with Darlene and thought she will be a great representative for the great people of South Carolina and will carry on her brother's legacy of public service in that beautiful state. So the president is fully supportive of Darlene in her honorable decision to run and, again, to continue her brother's legacy. With respect to your first question on, remind me?
Leader Thune, his
Yes.
patience is running out.
Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. His patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as possible by the August recess. He knows that's what the American people want to see passed. He was just traveling on the road yesterday, spoke about this, and there was a very loud applause from the people in the audience, the everyday Americans, because voter ID is common sense. They want proof of citizenship in our elections, and the president feels very strongly about that. And I would just add, you know, the American people elected overwhelmingly Republicans to lead not just this White House, but also the House and the Senate. The House did its job. The Senate needs to do its job too. I know it's a brief briefing today, but you're going to hear from the president directly twice today at 2:30 and also at 4:30. And we will see you all tomorrow night at the Correspondents' Dinner. Thanks, guys.
Well, that was short and sweet and to the point. So I guess she understands I got a bunch of running around to do, but don't leave yet. I do have one more part of this Mike Lindell thing. I want to share this with you. It helps having his own media team, but Mike Lindell, in addition to that post, put up another post. I want to show you guys this post here. This post says, Mike Lindell responds to viral amnesty claims. This is fake news. Of course, I want America first. A clipped video circulating on social media is being used to falsely claim that Mike Lindell supports, quote, 6 months of amnesty, unquote. Lindell says that's false, and his comments have been taken, quote, out of context. Lindell explains his proposal was to fingerprint, document, and vet illegal immigrants already in the country so authorities know who they are, making it easier to prevent illegal voting and quickly remove those who commit crimes. No pathway to citizenship, and you can't vote, except I heard his words say you don't have to leave ever. Let's continue. Give the benefit of the doubt. He said criminal illegal aliens should be deported immediately, while emphasizing that everyone should come to the United States legally. He stressed that immigration is a federal issue, noting that any such plan would have to be implemented by the federal government, not the state of Minnesota, which in other words is, why did you say anything that could derail your governor's campaign? Since you know you can't implement it, why'd you say anything? I don't know. Anyway, Lindell said he was simply offering a federal proposal to address an existing problem and gauge public reaction. Well, you gauged it all right, not advocating amnesty. Lindell says the viral clips leave out those key details and insists his position remains unchanged. Of course, I want America first, Minnesota first, and our families first. Everything, you need to come into the United States legally. All right. Now I will let you hear him say it again. Here is the second video that he just put out.
Mike Lindell's a liberal now. Mike Lindell's went out to the other side. Different ones. Steve Bannon did a big post going, what I have to look into this. This is it hit me from every direction. It was trending. But I'm doing a big speech. I was up in Sauk Center, Minnesota with one of our biggest rallies with CNN there, which they probably thought it was funny. It's out there going viral, and I can't even defend myself and talk about it because I'm at a rally and I'm there and I'm going here. I explained the whole thing in detail. I wanted to work something out where we could get these illegals documented, fingerprinted and stuff, because if you have them in the system, are you ready, everybody? Then they can't vote. If they vote, you've got it right there. You got them fingerprinted. You've got all their info in the system. All of a sudden, they show up on the voter roll and they vote. You're out of our country. That's it. You don't get to be here. Working here's a privilege. So when I had outlets like I had Esme Murphy, that was a month ago. There's soundbiting clips out of there when I was asked what I would do with ICE in Minnesota, and obviously it doesn't work to go door to door when you have, at least not in our state, we have, because of the tragedies that happen, we have a big problem that needs to be solved. But in the meantime, we have employers paying illegals, costing Minnesota $1.5 billion. And then you have $110 million worth of illegals sitting in our prisons here that have committed felonies and crime and rape and murder. Get them out of here. The mainstream media, they're not reporting this. They know that there was clips and they know that it's an attack. And if they report it, they'd probably go, for some reason, they're not reporting it, all this amnesty. It's all social media, and it's all bots and trolls attacking me. People on the right, people, my friends, I got podcasters out there. I got Steve Bannon going, Mike wants 6-month amnesty. I go, what are you talking about? I want America first. I mean, but there's a problem here. And these employers using these people for slave labor. There was also the thing too. I do have some compassion. Now I'm going to probably get it even for saying this. People that came here that were invited in across that border. You go back 15, 20 years. They came in, they had a visa, they overstayed it, or they were afraid now to go back and say, hey, I got to renew my visa. They're in fear. But they've never committed a crime, not even a jaywalking ticket, not even a misdemeanor, other than it was a crime, a misdemeanor, not to go back and get your visa updated because they're in fear. I do have a little compassion for those people. So this person didn't report in their visa, and they've been part of the thing, and now because of another change in our paradigm in our country, now they're sitting, hiding in fear, even afraid to go renew their visa. They've never broke a law. Now, what would be so bad to get them fingerprinted and put in our system and say, we'll let you renew now, but you got to get in the system. There's no pathway to citizenship ever, and you can't vote. You can't vote. Now we got their name. And if they do go commit a crime, they're out of here. You know where to find them. Crimes that are committed right now, they say, oh, the illegals, these are just the ones we got in our prisons. Crimes that are committed, Vanessa, we don't have their fingerprints. We don't know who they are. They're just down the street. They're running away. I mean, I just thought it was a common sense thing. And when different news outlets asked me yesterday, one was the Washington Examiner. Of course, they soundbite stuff or they take things out. And then right away on social media, Mike wants 6-month amnesty. But I'm telling you, everybody, one of the mistakes I made was putting up on my own personal social media to try and explain myself going, okay, because I didn't have time at that event. It says 6-month amnesty, ? Find the real truth here. Well, after you just seen a thing over here, a meme, all of a sudden you're looking, or I mean, you hear it over here on a news, on social media. Now you go to my social media and you go, 6-month amnesty. What is this guy doing? Mike Lindell, he flipped overnight. He's a liberal. He's a lunatic. But no, everybody, of course, I want America first. I want my family, our families first, our people first, everything first. You need to come in the United States legally. But the situation we're in now, it's like, okay, we have all this crime going on. We don't know who these people are. I just thought, what a great thing. You vet them and then they can't vote or they're shipped out. And you get one chance. They haven't committed a crime, do their work visa. It's a great solution, I thought, but we can't do it anyway because this is a federal level thing. You would have to be on the federal level. So putting an idea out there to see what people thought about it and talking about it on different stations, you see what the media can do. Mike wants amnesty. This is no pathway to citizenship. Even the federal plan that I had was the federal plan I put back then to save $84 billion and get these employers that are illegally paying people illegals to illegals paying illegally.
I am going to, because he's been so much of an advocate for President Trump, maybe we give him a little bit of a benefit of a doubt. And here's the benefit of a doubt. The guy has run a pillow company. Prior to that, he had some personal problems. He overcame those personal problems, and he ran a very successful business. One thing anybody will tell you is politics is the nastiest pool of water you ever want to jump in. As soon as you dip your toe, the piranhas are going to eat you alive. And anything you do, you need to be completely concerned whether you brushed your teeth, whether you put on deodorant, whether you cleaned your butt, because somebody is going to take anything you say and turn it into a frickin' billboard. Did he mean what he said? I don't know. All I'm going to do is leave that up to your interpretation and how you feel, which is different than a lot of other people will, where they will completely convict him right off the bat and scream and make 20 videos a day. You heard him. I think he has earned enough trust in people for people to look and go, was he just stupid? I mean, I don't mean to insult him, but could the answer to this whole thing be, you ran with something, you didn't have a campaign strategist, nobody was managing you. Hey, I'm going to propose this idea. You want to run it by somebody next time, Mike? Maybe run it by like 20 people. Maybe take your entire organization. Hey, guys, I'm going to say this. What do you think? Oh, don't even say it. Leave that unsaid. Burn the piece of paper that you wrote the notes down on. Ixnay. Especially since it doesn't even pertain to you. I could understand if he said, I'm going to do something X, Y, or Z in Minnesota. Okay, you're the governor. Maybe you can do that. You just possibly blew your entire campaign on something you can't do anyway, which means it was very stupid. Does it end his campaign? Possibly. Many people out there, because that's such a hot word, are never going to give him a second chance. You know, President Trump always says when he makes his speeches, and he says, if I say state of Massachusetts, well, it's a Commonwealth. If I say that, my career is over. Or if I call that woman beautiful, oh, oops, watch out, my career is over. He's not bluffing. He's not kidding when he says that. Everything. This is why these people always talk off of teleprompters. President Trump is very good. Number one, because he understands messaging. Number two, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. You don't like it, too bad. And that's why people hate him, because when you ask them about his programs, yeah, I kind of like it. I just don't like the way he delivered it. He's mean tweets. Remember that? Mean tweets. He can get away with it. He can say what he wants and get away with it. Mike, you're not there. You need to have everything go through some people who can even tell if you're given the wrong cadence, if you're given the wrong inflection on a word, and never, ever, ever again let the words amnesty or even possibly illegals come out of your mouth right now. So if I'm your campaign strategist, I would tell you, get out there and say, you know what, I've thought this over. I thought it was a good idea. It's a crappy idea. I've removed it from any thought. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. Something you never hear politicians do. I'm sorry. I'm human. I made a mistake. I've made a bunch of mistakes in my life. I used to do cocaine. I was a drug addict, but then I opened my own business and it did very well. And I sold a shitload of pillows and I thought I would do something good for the state of Minnesota. I screwed up. Please forgive me. Don't give them any place to go. I think there was a line in the movie, Clear and Present Danger, where the guy was in Harrison Ford was in the White House. Like, why are you looking perturbed? What should I say right now? Don't give them anywhere to go. Yeah, he's not a good friend. He's a very good friend. Put no daylight. So in this regard, just come out and say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Done. Please forgive me. I don't want amnesty. That was a very stupid idea. But see, the problem with politicians and very successful people is pride will destroy you. If you feel I don't have to answer to you, oh, you're stupid for taking this stuff on social media. All these podcasters ran with this stuff. Don't blame them. Don't blame them at all. That's their profession, I guess you could say. That's what they want to do. And most of them aren't in Minnesota anyway. So it doesn't really matter what most of the people online speak. You got to answer to the people in Minnesota. You're not running for president. You're running for the governor of Minnesota. What this guy says and that guy says and people even in chat here, we're not your constituents. Right now, you need a complete mea culpa. You need to fall on the sword and say, I effed up. I am completely sorry. That idea wasn't too good, friends. I made some bad decisions. Align it with your life. You haven't been perfect. You don't walk on water. One person walked on water. Come and lay yourself at the altar and say, I made a freaking mistake. Forgive me. And at that point, it's on them. See, once you do that, once you come to people with contriteness and you tell them, I had an idea, it might be stupid, I'm sorry, forgive me. If they don't, that's on them. F them. Move aside. Never bring it up again. Let them go ahead and talk in chat. That's on them if they want to be that way. But coming out and making videos like that saying they were wrong, they took it out of context, they listened to your video. Notice he didn't say it was edited. He didn't say it was AI. So that was actually his words. And maybe he was talking off the cuff. Maybe he didn't have a teleprompter in front of him, which is why some of these people are terrified to do interviews with podcasters because they don't know what's coming next. Hey, so yeah, how long you been beating your wife? Very simple question. But if you don't understand it, you have to be ready to go. There's no teleprompter. There's no coach. There's no press secretary. That's why Trump is so doggone good. I've never seen anybody who could sit there and hold court and talk to people and take questions and tell you what he feels. He's seemingly omniscient. He seems like he knows everything. And he told you, I know sports. I definitely know business. Yeah, I know real estate. I know this. I know that. And he stays to what he knows. That may be Mike Lindell's problem. You don't know shit about immigration. Stay with success. Stay with, fiscal responsibility. Stay with second chances. Stay with the ability to make something of yourself when you have nothing. That's your message. And I'm just giving it to you for free. I don't know who you're around, but they screwed you. And now you're screwing yourself because the next thing you post should be, I made a mistake. And if you don't post that, then you're going to get what you get. You're going to get people going, they're going to look at you side eye. They're going to look at you with not the same trust they had 24 hours ago. You'll never get that back. If you don't come out and say, I'm sorry, forgive me, you're not going to get that trust back. And you're done. You're done. It's that fast. Well, some of you guys may agree with me. I'm sorry if I upset you. Anyway, it's my anniversary, so I'm feeling a little emboldened. I've got to run. I've got to get to the jewelry store. I got to get to the florist. I got to do all kinds of things really quick here to make sure the little lady is happy today. Then I got to come back here and get ready for a 2:30 show. Hope I got enough time to do all this stuff. Today, President Trump will be talking about the data centers and stuff like that. So people are going to talk about that. All right, let me do super chats and then we'll do an abbreviated after party because I got to run. All right, so, well, thank you, Tyler. Tyler Jackson, thank you very much. No comment, just thank you very much. Jennifer, to address anything equals take away the money. Yeah, that's could be. Megan, happy anniversary, Barry and Robin. May God bless y'all with many more. Thank you very much. And I feel blessed for 33 years. Pam, a very happy anniversary to Barry and Robin. Thank you. Make it again. Mike will be the litmus test. Yeah, I think he stepped into something there. And Michael McDonald, prayers to 33 more. Thank you very, very much. I'm telling you, any of you guys who've been married this long, you understand lots of prayers, lots of prayers are needed to do that. And I appreciate you guys. All right, I'll be back. Hopefully on time. SV, hold your stories for later, and let's have fun today. Oh, wrong one.